Whitney McCallister, thank you for being back on.
Back again?
I want to first start with a public apology. I took you for an absolute roller coaster that first episode. If you recall how many times I called you, like, we're going to use the episode, we're not going to use
Yeah.
the episode. There were, I hate to say it this way, but, we're still so, like, nascent in this industry, I guess. Like, we were just kind of formulating the podcast, putting it together, and we were kind of winging a lot of it. There were a lot of things about that first episode that I loved, and then
Yeah.
there were a lot of things that what I would call like rookie mistakes. You know what I mean? And we were going back and forth on it, and I just wanted to apologize about how many times I called you and said like, "Hey, we're gonna post it. Hey, we're not gonna post it. Hey, we're gonna post it." I hate doing that because I never wanted you to feel disrespected as if I was ashamed or not happy with the product. It was just me overthinking it, me being a little nervous. It was all internal, and it ended up being one of our better
Great.
episodes.
It was great. It was great for me. It's been like incredible the reception I've got from it. I was really surprised by the amount of people that I personally know that watched it. Like I just kind of assumed it was going to be like followers on Instagram or whatever, but so many people that I like actually know in real life watched the episode. I got so many messages like apologizing. I got so many apologies for the way people talk to me or act around me or asking me for things or like
Really?
didn't see how much more because I do feel like as far as OnlyFans I glamorize it. I don't want to talk about the bad things with people, This is the first time that I'd ever talked about it in any capacity whatsoever. So like the reception on my end was like mind blowing.
What about some of the like? Because yeah, we discussed OnlyFans, but then there was also this paradigm of like you with your friends, right? When you
Right.
felt like they were using you,
Yeah.
and it felt like as if they were only calling you because they wanted you to kind of like essentially sponsor the night.
Right.
Were there any conversations about that? Is that still an issue?
A little bit. I feel some okay. I feel guilty for my success because I don't feel like I've done anything to be successful. But then it also makes other people feel like they're entitled to the success that I have like garnished
Because
because
they
I
know
got
you?
it for like no reason and they've been around forever. Like, well, she required no skill to make this money and I've been around forever. So, and she has no kids and no responsibilities. So do you ever like, feel like people are like entitled?
Yeah, but I would make
But-
the argument that like how many girls go out for OnlyFans?
Right.
A lot.
100%.
How many of them make money?
How many that I don't know about?
But how many
So-
of them like are quote unquote
Right.
successful? I'm not. Every industry has like its make or break it point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're able to do this and make money from it. There
Mm-hmm.
will always be naysayers or people that will like underwhelm a
Yeah.
situation, right? Who cares?
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys that if they were in the same position, they want to sit on their
Oh,
high
yeah.
horse and everything. But if they were in the same position, I know they would do the same.
Well,
thing.
and I know that it's, I don't think people are jealous of me, but I think they're jealous of the lifestyle I've been able to create essentially from having no skill. Because I've noticed guys are always like, hell yeah, if I could do that, I'd do it times 1,000.
You keep saying you have no skill.
Well, that's what like, that's the argument is like, oh, like I was seeing this guy and we went out to the bar, we were playing darts, hanging out, and one of his friends' girlfriends, when I walked away, made the comment she didn't know why he liked me because like all I do for a living is sell like pictures of myself on the internet. So fucking what? I'm sorry that I'm not like required to do more to make that money. Like that's what it is. It's not. It doesn't require a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm succeeding at it.
I think the other variable here, though, Whitney, is also where you live. We said it before.
100%.
We said it before.
I have a
but-
mold over. We had the conversation about you had asked me like I know that there's a tier of men that I have like eliminated from the dating pool for myself. We talked about that and you asked me if I thought that if I moved somewhere bigger, if that would be a bigger like hindrance to my life. And the more I don't because I have gotten so much support from people here in St. Louis that I know like women around here like tell me how badass I am and how great what I do and how proud they are. Like I think I would like flourish in a large city.
Yeah,
I think it would be easier for me like personally and socially because things are just more acceptable when you live in a bigger city. Like, it's not as like frowned upon.
Can I just take it a step further? I don't think it's like the anonymity of numbers.
Yeah.
Because I don't think like if you take an OnlyFans model and you put them around 100,000 people instead of 10,000 people, that somehow that changes the paradigm. Because you keep saying things like, I have no skill set, and like those feelings won't go away if you go into a bigger pond, so to speak.
Yeah.
But what will happen is like when you go to a city, the economic opportunities are, this is going to sound very bad when I say it, but I'm going to say it. The economic opportunities for those around you are more prevalent. So like the money you make will not seem so substantial.
Right.
I think a part of the reason, and Colin Parr actually kind of opened my eyes to this, because he has a brother who's like hitting some hard times with like drug abuse and all these other things. And one of the things that he kind of kept harping on was like, they live in Podunk, nowhere, Illinois, and there's nothing to do. There's like no economic prosperity or opportunities. So like all you have to do is basically like sit around, work, or like go to the bar and do drugs. Like
that's the best part, is the girl that made these comments about me like used to do meth. And I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
I feel like there's a hierarchy.
That's why I'm like I'm mind boggled, because like you're judging me for slinging a little bit of titty for some money, but you're slinging your body for meth, girl.
Oh,
like
Jesus
like
Christ.
the like. Let's be friends. Why are we fighting? Like, you know, like neither one. But I will say I've never been like a judgmental person, but I just feel like now I think I'm so much more relatable and easier to talk to and get along with, just because I genuinely feel like my life is such a walking contradiction. I feel like a traditional person, but I live non-traditionally, and I'm so well aware of it, and it makes no sense, but like that's where I'm at.
That's why, if there's anything that's still, there's two things that confuse me. Number one, the business side. Anyway, number two is you feel and you seem so cognizant of like the setbacks, but then, if I may, you're still living there. You're still doing that. Like,
I rent a 3-bedroom house for $650. I rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a 2-car attached garage for $650. I mean,
is it that, or is it you're comfortable with because you know everybody around you?
I've since our last the last podcast, I think I went out fairly often for a while. I haven't gone out and done anything in months. I've just kind of been at home. Honestly, I've been at home hoarding money and hanging out and getting bills paid off and stuff, because I have kind of fallen back on the OnlyFans a little bit, and I'm just kind of trying to live comfortably on what I have and offset some taxes and find a happy medium.
Girl, I feel you on the taxes.
It's insane. So I'm just kind of...
Don't get me started. My blood is already boiling.
I know. That's why I'm like, I'm just kind of like, if I can live comfortably for a little bit and just kind of find a happy medium. I do need to find other things to do with money, and we talk about that all the time, I know. But I'm just... Like,
what's the hindrance there? Like, what is so... Like, why are you
because I live somewhere I don't know what I'm doing. I don't trust people easily as it is, let alone someone with my money.
Fair. Very fair.
Like, and I trust everything you tell me, and I'm 2 hours away, and then it just makes me nervous to do anything that I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm with you in the sense of like, it can seem like a hurdle, especially if you're not necessarily like financially inclined with like financial instruments. Like, if you don't know what the stock market is, if you have never heard of a cryptocurrency.
That is the one thing, like in a small, like no one taught me that. I don't know if that's like a small town podunk thing.
No, I think that's an American education system thing.
Like no one's taught me those things, and sure, it's nothing to go pay some, CPA or some guy, whatever, to tell me what to do with my money. And that I've known people that have been told, hey, put your money in this, and then they've lost it all. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go. Why are you recommending me this guy when he just lost you 20 grand? Like, I'm not going to do that. So
terribly sorry to interrupt the content that you're enjoying right now, but if you've been watching our content for the past couple of months, you realize that Easy Talk is a brand new podcast. We're genuinely trying to figure this thing out as we're going. Some growing pains for sure. If you are genuinely enjoying this content, we feel very humble in that, but we would like to ask that you would also subscribe and like to the channel, simply because it does help us in the algorithms and ultimately to grow. So take a second. I'd really appreciate it. And on with the show. Is it something that you spent spend a whole lot of time thinking about, like financial security in the future?
I feel like since it's just me, I'm not married and I don't have kids, I really don't stress about it. I'm okay. So
is there a part of you that lives where you live, you've brought it up multiple times, but like the cost of living side
Yeah,
to it,
yes.
right? But let me kind of turn that on its head.
Yeah.
When eventually this dies down, because everything
It
has a
will.
life cycle, right? What will you have? Yeah, you'll have a low cost of living, but and this is going to sound very bad because it's going to make me kind of sound like I'm shitting on rural America. It's not that I want to shit on rural America, so to speak. It's that if you're talking about economic prosperity, there is no argument that can be made that living nearby or commuting to a city will give you more economic options, right? Now, you're in a position where you kind of have like something set aside. And I always say like the true mark of wealth is like whether or not your wealth is working while you're asleep. If you're making money
Right.
while you sleep, that's wealth. It's not necessarily like a dollar amount, right?
Yeah.
Because like you could have $1 million. I can go spend $1 million on stupid shit and now we're broke. I just, before this is all said and done, before the sun has set on this type of work and it's culminated, I just hope that you have like some sort of structure or some sort of path to like the next thing.
I do, and I do worry. I'm 37. I do think I could do this. I still stand by being able to do it for years. I still think I've got 5 to 10 years. I really do. I think if I kept up with it, but I will say it is super time consuming, and I am like right now I'm just at like a blah with it. I'm neither here nor there with it. It's like it is what it is. I like to see the money come in, and that's great. But
is there anything you're passionate about outside of this?
That's
because you have wrestling, right?
Yeah, I do. I travel, for that.
But what I'm saying is, like, is there nothing that you can create, like, a business-wise towards this aspect of your life that's, like, a similar passion?
So I work full-time right now. I work at a gym. I work 50 hours a week. I'm there 6 days a week. I love my job, but I know there's, like, nothing... I'm not going anywhere with that. I've thought about getting back into, like, a professional workforce just...
If you don't mind me asking, why do you work at a gym if you're making all this money with OS? Is it just, like, to stay busy? Yeah, okay.
I get so bored. I had worked at Ameren, and I took, like, 3 months off whenever I did get money flowing in from OnlyFans. I was so bored. I'd go out drinking in the middle of the day, partying. It was like, what else everyone else is at work. Like, what do you know? I don't have any health benefits right now, and I want health benefits. I'm not really sure why. I think it's just because everyone tells me I need them. Thankfully, I'm a healthy person. I only really go for, like, yearly checkups, routine checkups, whatever, physicals, all that good stuff. But I want to have health insurance and things like that. I'm not paying $650 a month for health insurance because that's what I was quoted.
For what, like Obamacare?
Yeah, Oh, but yeah, that's what.
No shit.
$650 just because of my income.
What is the deductible?
1,000 or 1,500.
That's not much.
And at the time,
that monthly premium is insane.
Well, we all of our, like, Blue Cross Blue Shield is, like, the primary insurance for the Obamacare, like anything that I was offered, and they were out of network for the physicians' offices in my area. So even then, if they're all out of network, I'm paying for no reason.
Yeah, you're paying for insurance that you can't even utilize.
So I might as well just pay the $1,000 a year for my, whenever I have to go once a year and be done with it right now than anything else.
I think insurance is a racket, personally. I understand why it exists. My only hindrance towards it is the fact that it's mandated in certain industries, like car insurance, for instance. It's like, but then I get it. So let me, if you'll briefly give me like 45 seconds. The conundrum here is people have to finance these things, like a house and a vehicle, because they don't have like the cash on hand to just purchase the thing, right? So if you're like a bank or a financial institution, you want to make sure that the underlying asset at the very least is secured. So like a lot of times when they finance these things, they make it kind of like, it's not necessarily litigation or the law for you to have car insurance. Like if I own my car, then the base minimum state coverage I need is at least liability. Right. So like I'm not covered, quote unquote, but in case I hit somebody, they are covered. Right. So that kind of makes sense to me for liability purposes, legal purposes. But like from the perspective of if I'm financing a vehicle, it also makes sense for me that the financial institution wants to make sure that their asset is secure. However, if you were to somehow say tomorrow that like, okay, if you sell a house to a person or you sell a car, you can no longer mandate insurance. The alternative is that the finance companies, the banks and who have you, will make the interest rates so much more higher because now they're taking on so much more risk. It's kind of like you will have to pay no matter what. Now the question is whether you want to pay for the banks and not have your assets secured, or pay the insurance companies and have your assets secured. So as much as I say that insurance is a racket, when I take a step back and I look at it objectively, I can understand from the perspective of assets, like a house, a car.
Right.
When we get to health insurance, no one has made a viable argument to me that can help me wrap my head around the American healthcare system.
I feel like I just want health insurance because I am told that I need it.
Well,
you know,
here's the problem. Insurance, by definition, is like something you want to have in case you need it. It's like if you're healthy,
it's just like a maybe.
Yeah,
maybe you're gonna need this, but you're gonna pay me $650 a month, even if you don't. That's what.
Well, why is it? But why is it $650 a month? It's $650 a month because these insurance companies are for profit. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
So the delta, the margin for profitability, is built in, meaning there's two ways to separate that or to lower that premium for you. You either have to tell the insurance companies that they can only make so much profit.
Yeah.
Like you do with like utilities, right? Like Ameren can only make so much money, and that's what kind of helps keep the prices relatively smaller than they could be, right? Or you make healthcare cheaper, and then the insurance companies don't have to pay out these exorbitant fees and pays. So then the cost for everyday people becomes less because now the profitability margin is still there. So it's like I'll give you a prime example. I had a friend who he was in Canada for like work or whatever, and something happened to where he had to go to the ER room, okay? His ER visit, and now I'm not saying that the Canadian healthcare system is like the best healthcare system in the world. I'm just using this story as a comparison. His ER visit cost him $600. And at first he was petrified because his insurance company informed him like, hey, you're in Canada, you're not in the US, tough on you.
Good luck,
so he was like freaking out. He's like, oh shit, like I'm gonna get hit with this whole bill. When he got the bill, it was $600. And the guy was like, this is less than my deductible than in my insurance in America, which begs the question, like, I'm not saying like, Medicare for all. I'm not saying single payer. I'm not saying any of these like political maneuverings. What I am saying is, why does a bag, like an IV bag, which is basically just sugar water, cost you $1,100 at a hospital? How come if you take Tylenol, each pill is $25 at a hospital? What the fuck is this? And why can you not negotiate this? Like if a doctor comes in and says like, well, you need this surgery or whatever, and then I ask, well, how much is that surgery, doc? The doctor's like $10,000. Well, I can't afford this, doctor. Can we do something? Like, there's no, when you go buy a car, you can negotiate. When you buy a house, you negotiate. When you buy like almost anything else in your life, that's like a big purchase. I'm not talking about like Skittles at the grocery store.
Right.
It's a like, hey, you want 45, I got 43. Let's make it happen today. Or maybe they say, no, I don't want to do it. Okay, that's the equation taken.
That's it,
Healthcare seems like this.
Well, it's irritating to me because they're basing the $650 a month for me off of my income, and my income is what I make myself as self-employed. But if I just go get a job, like if I went back into finance and got a job at a finance company, my insurance was $80 every 2 weeks.
That makes no. Oh, okay. I'll tell you
Through
why.
a company.
Exactly.
I know. But it just is mind-boggling that you can be self-employed and be making your own money your own way, not bothering anyone, not taking from no one, not doing anything that you shouldn't be doing. Yet your taxes are 10 to 20 grand a year, and insurance is going to cost you. It's like, I am doing less and you're charging me more, essentially.
Can I ask you a question? What do you think would be better for people? Do you think it would be better, and this is no right or wrong answer, just an opinion. Do you think it would be better if there were like no taxes whatsoever? Let's just say all your taxes were gone and you kept 100% of your money, but there was no government aid whatsoever. Meaning, and I'm talking about federally. So like state and local taxes would still exist. So like your local police officers, your firefighters, the municipality that take care of like the city roads, not necessarily the interstate highways, right? Those things would still be taken care of. I'm talking about federally. Yeah. And you just kept more of your money. What do you think about that?
Nobody is going to like this answer. I'm sure I get hell for it all. I think I am a single woman. I'm 37. I do not have a bunch of children. I'm not doing, I have done everything correctly per society. I just think when
what do you
I
mean by that?
I don't have a bunch of kids. I'm not living on welfare. I'm not getting Section 8 housing
from government. Okay,
I am costing you nothing, and I'm making money on my own by myself and you're taking so much of it from me to provide for other people. Yes, people need help. I get it. I totally understand it. I think government assistance should be more regulated, and I think when you do things correctly per state, federal, I just think you should be rewarded for that.
Speak on that. When you say rewarded, do you mean rewarded in the sense of
in the sense of like some kind of a break on taxes?
Yeah.
Right. Like, hey, she didn't get married, she didn't have kids, she's not getting child support, she's not, getting a link card, she's not getting Section 8 housing, like she's done everything correctly and on her own. Let's give them a break. Let's do something. Let's reward them in some way. Not that it's a reward to need help, I get it, but it is infuriating to see girls that I know back home, hey, I just got $800 on my link card, I'll sell you 400 of it for $300. And then two Snapchats later.
What is link? Forgive me.
Groceries, help with your groceries to provide
so like
for
food stamps.
Food stamps, yes. It's called a link card.
And these people are trying to sell 400.
They sell their link card money for cash. So I could take, it's illegal, and they'll put it on their like Snapchats, like, hey, I'm selling $400 in link card. I'll give you the card to go to the grocery store, buy $400 for the groceries, and you give me $300 in cash. So you're getting an extra $100 in groceries. They're getting $300 cash. 2 days later, they're posting they got their nails done and eating crab legs. That's where my issue is that I think help gets abused more often than not. And then I feel bad having these opinions because I don't have kids, so I can't say that I know what it's like. And I know some people genuinely need help, but I know more people that abuse it than not.
Yeah, but I would also make the opinion, or I would say the opposite. I would say like these people that are having kids. I mean, at what point are adults? Mm-hmm. At what point do we as a country say like it is not our obligation to protect you from yourself? If you want to have children, if you want to do that, like go ahead. Mm-hmm. But that's a financial, I don't want to say burden, but that's a financial hurdle that you're going to have to tackle. Do with that what you want. I don't
mind my money, like taxes. I don't mind it going to people who need help, but like I just feel like if I'm doing things correctly.
Well, I agree, but then okay, so let me hit you with this then. In theory, I agree with you, but the problem then becomes application, because I am a firm believer that like you don't want to legislate culture. You want culture to lead to legislation. So like things like the child tax credit, I do agree with, because we have to like supplement the country, right? So like if you're gonna have kids, I understand that that's a financial burden on you. We will help alleviate some of that by just not giving you money. We're not gonna take as much of your money away from you. Those are two completely different things.
But every tax time when I see someone buying a car because they got $13,000 back on their taxes for having 4 kids with 3 or 4 different men, it infuriates me.
Why?
Because here I am. Oh, I'm not.
Why? Because they have kids?
Because they're irresponsibly having children that the government's essentially giving food stamps for, paying Section 8 housing.
1 second.
Yes.
Those are two different things.
Yes,
if you're telling me like that she got $13,000 of her money back, I'm for that.
No.
But if it's like $13,000 of welfare, I'm not okay with that. Okay.
Yes, your own money, absolutely. And it's just frustrating. Oh, that's great. I'm so happy you're getting $13,000 and you're going to buy an SUV today. I'm going to go pay $14,000 in taxes. You know what I mean? It's just, but then I do have to think throughout the year, I'm making 6 figures. I'm okay. It's none of my business.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it okay.
No, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I just feel like, when tax season rolls around, when you've done everything as you're supposed to, that why would it be a big deal to be like, hey, this, you didn't do this, or this, and you did these, like, we're going to give you $3,000 break on your, just something.
I'm going to end this portion of this conversation with this little anecdotal piece of evidence. Okay. I wanted to do a couple of cool things on this podcast. Like I wanted to buy a couple TVs. I wanted to like kind of like put some more money into it.
Yeah.
I had to do an extension on my taxes because I have like, my taxes are not as simple as like, what's your W-2, right? So we just got like the bill, quote unquote, yesterday. So we haven't solidified anything yet.
This is tough for you right now.
Let me just say the number is a lot higher than I thought it would be. And when I off air, I'll tell you what we pay in income tax. You'll shit your pants. I don't
even think I want to know.
What irritates me the most is like, if I were to have that money, I could go buy the things. I could stimulate the economy. I could pay my people more. I'd have more liquid cash in which to like make work. Instead, I'm going to pay the tax man who's going to put that money where?
Right.
To bombing brown people halfway across the earth, to funding a war with a superpower that we shouldn't be entangled with?
This is like the only part of like the money I'm willing to talk about, like dollar amount. My first year of doing OnlyFans, I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't know it was going to blow up. I owed $16,000 in taxes. It was only the last 6 months of 2020. I'm still paying that. I've got it figured out now, but I wasn't expecting it to be that. But in year one was only 6 months, and imagine if it would have been 12 months of not knowing what I was doing.
Yeah.
That would have been insane.
How about this? A better question. How is it that when I live in the city of St. Louis, right? Mm-hmm. There is a 1% flat city tax. Mm-hmm. Whenever I do my taxes at the end of the year, there's a state and there's federal.
Yes.
But the city is like squared away. Mm-hmm. I don't have to worry about my city taxes because that's flat. It's like a simple tax. Why is it that I have to do a calculation in real time based on like a tiered structure for taxation, both federally and state-wise? And if I miscalculate, I am somehow like, punished for this. But if I miscalculate in the sense where I pay too much, you simply return to me the delta.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that pisses me off more than fucking anything. If I owe, the rate of inflation adjusted income is tacked on to the money that I owe. So like if I owe $9,000, let's say, and then I was supposed to pay in April, they'll tack on like an additional like $500 by the time.
Yes.
But when I have a return, when I had a return, they didn't do the same thing to me. Like, oh, hey, you paid us too much money. Here's your money back plus the rate of inflation for that
I get a
time
notice
value money.
Every quarter. Like, hey, you didn't pay off this X amount of dollars, so we're adding $500 to it.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
Go fuck yourself.
Right. Like.
Meanwhile, so I can give you a 0% interest loan.
Yeah.
Government. But the U.S. citizen that
Can't
created this
solid,
value.
yeah. Well, that's my biggest thing. I was like, dude, I am literally selling photos of my own body that I grew myself. That has nothing to do with Uncle Sam. Who the fuck are you to say you get a handout in mine?
This was an investment.
This was all me. Why are you getting your hands in my pocket?
Can I ask you a personal question? I was actually talking to my wife the other day, and one of the things that drives me personally fucking crazy on Instagram is like these girls that will go and get breast implants, and then the very next day, every photo is like low cut t-shirts, posting that stuff. And what irritates me the most is I legitimately do look at breast implants at this point in time as an investment at this point.
Yeah.
Because I've seen women create businesses off their fake tits.
I have a serious issue with breast implants, and I have forever because I've
It
never
dilutes the
had any.
market.
Well, no, I've never had them, and for some reason that is a hot topic of discussion. I have openly talked about getting a BBL. I got a Brazilian butt lift. I had fat transferred from other portions of my body and put into my butt cheeks. That's what I did.
Can I ask you a question,
Nothing in me
though?
is plastic.
You can do squats. You can get the ass. You can't grow tits. So, like...
I don't need to grow tits, but everyone thinks that they're fake, and I'll get asked. And, like, I have had girls tell me they will go to, like, a dinner together and pull up my Instagram and try to decide if my boobs are real or not. And I'm like, I'm telling you they are. Why are we talking about it? And then my biggest thing is, like, why would I go get a Brazilian butt lift and be honest about it and then lie about getting a boob job?
That makes sense, actually.
It's
like, what, I'm going to be half transparent?
Right. Like, why would it makes no sense to lie about some of it and not.
Do you think what made you want to get the BBL?
I just wanted liposuction. I just wanted fat removed from my stomach, my flanks, and my back. I just wanted the lipo. And I got it done here in Chesterfield, and to get liposuction, they have to dispose of the fat, and that is expensive. So they quoted me for just the liposuction, and it was $14,000. And I only did the BBL because I needed a good tax write-off. If I'm being completely honest, I needed to do something with some fucking money so I could offset. So
Suddenly Whit's all about the business.
Literally, I called my poor CPA has got to think I'm a fucking raging lunatic.
This accountant in Taylorville.
He is an older gentleman.
He's probably like, every day we stray further from God.
I went in there, I plopped down, I set down all my shit. I said, all right, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing for a living. Don't say anything until I'm done. And I slinging titties on the internet for money. And then I handed him my 1099, and he goes,
all right.
You made this from doing that? I go, yeah. He goes, I've never dealt with anything like this before, like, ever. And I was like, me either. Let's figure it out. And I've stuck with him since then. I probably will never leave him. He didn't know what he was doing, and he's probably the reason it cost me 15 grand the first year. But we've been figuring it out together. He's got to think I'm insane.
If you didn't pay anything in taxes, I mean, and you didn't have like business expenses,
Yeah.
one of the things I'm looking forward to next year is this.
Yeah.
Whoo! I'm looking forward to that right off. One of the things that irritated the shit out of me was I could not get it into the 2023 because we technically did not form the LLC for this until 2024, and I was like,
"You're ready for this."
I was like,
yeah.
"Damn it, dude."
If there is one thing though that like I don't want to say I miss about being broke, but like just having no concept of larger money.
Or looking forward to tax season. Do you remember looking forward to tax season?
Yeah.
I used to get a return. I was like, yeah, my money back.
Woohoo, $1,500.
Now I'm like,
now it's like, oh, you have to give us $15,000, and I'm like, wow, fuck your mom. Like, what are we doing?
And that's the thing too. It's you're hitting the nail on the
Yeah.
head. It's not like a 1-to-1. It's not like I
Right.
used to get like a X number return,
Yeah.
and now I'm getting I have to pay. So like I
Yeah.
feel like I'm kind of I used to get like 500
Yeah,
bucks
I'd be happy
back.
with podunk a grand.
Dude.
I'm swimming in cash if you would have gave me a grand, and now that's where I feel like I can't complain because I'm fine now, and it's great to be okay every single day of the year. You know what I mean?
No, I complain because my money is being taken for shit
Yeah.
that is not making life
Yeah.
better. I said this,
And that's why I think we deserve to get some kind of reward.
No, let me actually take it back for a second. I would be completely fine with the amount that I'm taxed if the roads had no potholes. If
I can get behind
crime
this.
was
I can
at
get
an
behind
all-time
this.
low,
Yes.
if our education system was truly producing
Right.
bright minds, I would look at this and say, you know what?
If it was benefiting the now and the future,
I have no problem with
Right.
that, but that's not where the money's going.
yeah, no, I'm not contributing to the greater good, the better, yeah.
I've said this ad nauseum, and forgive me for those listening if they've heard this. We bring in as a country $5 trillion from taxable income, right?
Yeah.
We spend 6.1 trillion. Deficit spending, leave that aside. 6.1 fucking trillion dollars.
Yeah.
And I have to look like I'm a drunk driver on 55 because there's so many potholes. You passed a $1.4 trillion infrastructure package, and I don't see any difference.
Half of my drive here was like road closed.
Yes.
Road,
Yeah.
like orange cones.
By the way, for like the last 3 years,
Yeah.
you want to know why? Fun fact, you want to know why that happens like that? So municipalities have a certain amount of budget, right? And what they'll do is they'll contract out this company to like do the work, and then when the funds dry out, the company will be like, all right, we'll come back next legislative session when you guys got more money.
Well,
So like a lot of times when you see like a road closed and like they got like equipment there and you haven't seen anybody work on it for like the past 4 months, it's because the municipality fucking ran out of money.
yeah.
Or the contractors like, you know, said it was going to cost this much and then it didn't because like
And
they're
it's
trying to
always
underbid.
something. Always something. I worked Shamrock for 6 years. Every month the drive here there was some kind of road construction, something going on. I'm like, man, we do not have our shit together.
I will say this, and I'm going to ask you about Shamrock. Every intelligent person I know either works for themselves or works for someone more intelligent.
Yeah.
What's left over is the dummies that work for government.
Yeah.
Sorry. You said that you worked for Shamrock, for Shamrock for 6 years.
Yes.
And fun fact, I actually met you because of a Shamrock event. But anyway.
That's a good story that needs to be told.
Did you hate me? Okay, so
No.
let me give some context.
Yeah,
The way I met Whitney McCallister was my professional debut. I was fighting a guy by the name of Trevor Ward, who at the time was your boyfriend.
Yes.
And let's just say that I had less than nice things to say leading up to that fight. I ended up winning that fight, and that was when I first met Whitney, when I was talking to Trevor in the back.
Yes.
And like, I think I gave you a hug or a handshake.
I took you guys' picture together.
Yes!
I still have the
Yes!
picture.
Can you send that to me?
I can. I do.
Oh
I
my
still
God.
have the picture.
God bless Trevor Ward. I hope he's doing great. But that's how
don't,
we met.
but-
So can I ask you a question? How much did you hate me before we became friends?
So when all that went, that was like my exposure to Shamrock-ish because I wasn't involved with Shamrock in any way at that time. So I was familiar with like UFC, MMA, watching that, but like being involved in that aspect was
Local MMA.
like it was so different. And we were living in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the time.
We meaning you and Trevor.
Me and Trevor, because he had moved there to train at Jackson Wink. So they were doing like the interviews or whatever, and Trevor is such like a nice like guy as far as won't talk shit, won't argue, won't Whereas you are the polar fucking opposite. If there is a such thing as an ego, it's you. But I like that.
Producer Matt, relax.
If you look up ego in the dictionary,
he just
there
laid
is
back
a
and he's
picture
like,
of Ariana.
preach.
And I mean, we're at the apartment. We had an apartment, and we're listening to your interview, and it's, fuck him, I'm gonna rip his fucking face off. He don't know what the fuck he got himself into. And I'm like, why is this man so mad at you? I was like, say something. No, I'm not. I was like, fucking talk shit back. What do you mean no? Your interview's next, and he's saying he's gonna humiliate you in front of all. Like, fucking say something. And no, because like, what happens if I say, oh yeah, I'm gonna choke that bitch out in the second round, and then I don't? Well, who fucking cares? Like, stand up for yourself. And he won't. I still don't think to this day he talks shit like that. But I was heated. Not that I hated you. I appreciated the confidence because I feel like if I were a tough person, that's how I would talk.
I always said that this was like the one industry in which you can like let it fly, because at the end of the day, they get to punch you in the face.
I was definitely on the wrong side of like dating because he was way too nice. How are you gonna go into a fight talking about, oh yeah, it's gonna be a great time. I hope we both have fun. It'll be a hell of a show. Like, just pretend, like, just say it. Maybe if you say you're gonna rip his face off, you'll do it. Like, build a little confidence in yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm with you.
I was ready to do that interview. Fuck you, Arion. Like, I'll kick your ass.
Do you know how awkward that would have been if I did like the interview and it's like the guy's girlfriend is like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wasn't ready for this response. I don't know how to return. Like,
I was ready to get on there and talk shit, but.
So then that was like your first foray, or I guess like your first experience with Shamrock. Mm-hmm. How long from that until you started ring card girling?
Oh my god!
Ring card girling, is that a verb?
Being a ring card girl. It was literally like a year later, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like
2016. Well, because you moved back.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to get into the story about what happened to you.
We can get into that story too.
I genuinely don't want to. I just don't think it's any value. Forgive me. But moved back to Taylorville.
Yeah, and I want to say I was in 2017. It's funny because I wanted to start being a ring girl. For Shamrock, and didn't really know how, and this story pisses me off. So my youngest sister, Katie, was like, they don't want you, you're old and you're ugly, like, I'm better looking than you, they would take me before you. And I'm like, bitch, please, nobody wants you, it's gonna be me. So she found out, like, how to apply for it, so we both applied, and they took her. Because at the time they were contracted out through a promotional modeling agency, and they did. And I'm sitting in all these, like, swimsuit pictures, looking my best, I'm like, why don't they want me? So I did get hired on by the company, but not with Shamrock, but by the company that they were contracted through. And I would work like fireball events and like golfing, and those were a lot of fun. Like, those were so much fun.
What is a fireball event?
Like I was a fireball girl, so I'd go out and hand out shots and collect tips and just party with everybody. Essentially, it was a dream. So I started off doing all that, and then I did get booked a Shamrock show with my sister. And then that was just kind of how it all started. And then when COVID hit, the girl closed down the agency, and then Shamrock just kept me around, like, just because I was just reliable. I mean, I showed up. So
at that point, you've built a relationship with them.
Yeah.
When you say you showed up, did they have a problem with people showing up?
Yeah, there was a show, one of the January shows. I want to say maybe 2017 or 18. My dad used to own limos, and it was snowing really bad, and I had a big group of friends coming. And it's funny because I had a conversation with Rob before that show or something, and we were joking around. He's like, you're a dime a dozen. I could get anyone to do this. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, tell me how it is. Well, I'm on my way in the limo with my friends and my sisters to the Shamrock show, and Rob calls me and is like, hey, are you still coming up here tonight? I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way now. Snowstorm, I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. 2 hours away, I'll be there. And okay, well, the other girl called out because of the weather. Oh, that's real funny, because you can get anyone to do this, remember? He's like,
I thought it was a dime a dozen.
Yeah, there ain't nothing to get a girl to walk around in a circle, Robbie. And he's like, you got anyone that'll do it with you? So my poor middle sister, Ashley, who has never had any interest in anything other than coming to watch and cheer for her sisters, got up there and was a damn ring girl for the night. So
if I may ask, why the worked past tense?
I decided to leave, when was it, about December of last year. There was a phone conversation had with me. There were incorrect assumptions being made on my outside relationships with people in Shamrock. And I was essentially told it was my final warning. And when I ended the phone call, I felt really bad because I don't want to cause problems. I've never caused problems. I've never been reprimanded or been told I ever did anything wrong. I showed up to every single show. I put flyers in seats. I offered to help do anything beyond ring girling. I was always willing to help do anything. So at first I was really upset, like, oh my God, I can't believe like I did something wrong. But then the more I sat and thought about it, like I lived 2 hours away. At the time I had a boyfriend that we lived together. I was like, I've not done anything I shouldn't be doing, and there is no reason for me to be told like this is your final warning. So I just chose to not come back.
Got you. So it was just like you were, after that phone call, you were like, you know what?
Yeah.
No longer worth it for me.
Yeah, I mean, because I love everyone that I had met through Shamrock, and I had a great time doing it. I am 37. I know I can't be a ring girl forever. It's not like this was a stepping stone to something bigger for me, and I was aware of that.
Well, that's actually why I asked, because like I always assumed like when the day would come, like I said, there's a twilight on every career, right? When the day would come that you would no longer want to do that, I always assumed like you would be like, I don't know, like the manager of the ring card girls or something.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
and I wanted to do something like that, and I had thrown around other ideas of things for me to potentially do to stay involved and to stay there. There was just always a back and forth discrepancy on money, and the pay as a ring girl, I mean, it wasn't anything huge.
By any chance, did you watch the Nicolette episode?
I watched a little bit of it.
There was a moment in that where she told me that working for the Blues, she made minimum wage.
Yeah.
Like Blues Crew.
Yeah, the Blues Crew, yeah.
And it's like one of the rare times where I am speechless. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, I made more money working for Shamrock than I did working for the Blues.
That's crazy.
And I was like,
that should be illegal.
That still fucking blows my mind. Well, it's not illegal because they're technically paying the minimum wage. What she was telling me was like, it's the opportunity. I'm like, the fucking opportunity for what?
For what, right.
Where are you going to go after the Blues?
Right.
Like, she said the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders make minimum wage.
Have you watched that?
No, but...
Oh, don't. It'll piss you off. It's insane.
Well, my question is very simple. If you're a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, what is next?
She said one of the cheerleaders said her pay was literally the equivalent of like a school teacher. Like a starting out school teacher.
Which the argument can be made about teacher pay. But I understand that it's a free and open market and that they are providing a price and people are choosing to do it. So like in that sense, it's like, hey, why would I pay them more if they're willing to do it for cheaper? I get that. What I'm basically kind of asking the people that are doing it the question, like, why are you doing this for minimum wage? What opportunity?
Right. Well, I loved the fight. Like, I loved the fight scene. I loved
did it
people.
For the passion.
I did. It is something that I just like thoroughly enjoy.
Isn't it? Not so much for Shamrock, actually, because Shamrock is operating with a budget and all this stuff. My whole thing is like, you're a cheerleader for some football team. Yeah. Professional football team. Right. You're a cheerleader for the Blues hockey team.
Should be the max for that?
I don't even.
You know what I mean?
It's like, not the max. Yeah. It's the minimum.
Well, yeah.
What
should be the minimum for that? They do have the budget. That's where it's irritating. But I don't want to discredit what they do. I couldn't do it.
I agree.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either. That's why I think it's like. That's why. Listen, when people are throwing people in the air, I can't do that. It's impressive to me. The other thing I'm trying to say is like, what irritates me is like I have businesses and I know what I pay people to do for what they do, and it's like I do that because it's like, what would I want to be compensated for this work? I try to be very objective and fair, right? And that way, when people come to me and they're like, "Aaron, I want more money," I'm like, it's a very honest conversation. I'm like, "Hey, I understand that you want more money. Explain to me like what's the market rate? Where are you getting paid? Are you being paid under the market rate? Could I hire someone to do your job for less, or do I have to hire someone to do your job for more?" It's a very simple conversation, right? But if I'm paying them minimum wage and like they're turning to me like someone could get paid $40 an hour to do this, I'm gonna have to eat shit and be like, all right, here's $40 an hour. Does she know
if they all made the same, or surely there's a seniority?
Well, here's the thing that I would say is like, if you have, and this is business mind, Ariane, if I have a slew of women that are willing to do this for minimum wage.
Right.
Why would I pay any of them
Right,
more?
100%.
I don't blame the Blues. I don't blame the Dallas Cowboys. And this is gonna sound very bad. I blame the women for doing it.
Yeah.
If you guys stuck to your guns and say, no,
Yeah.
fuck that. I'm not doing it for unless I get this much money.
I mean, I was to a point with I had gotten raises with Shamrock, and I was happy with that, and I would get rooms or whatever because I did make the drive, and
Yeah, additional
and
compensation
they're not
outside
wrong.
of cash.
They could find anyone locally to do it. That's not, that's not wrong. But I like to think there's value in me.
There's a negotiation.
People were happy to see me, excited to see me, and because I did go to a show after the fact. I went, not July, when was it? Whatever the show was before July. I went to the show. Everyone's like, "What are you doing? Why are you not working? Why are you not working?"
Max Choriev.
Yes,
That was
I
the
had
card.
so many people asking me. The first show I didn't go to, I had probably about 8 different fighters and crew members message me, and commissioners like, "Where are you at?
Yeah.
Why are you not here?" So like that felt good. At least I know.
Your absence was noticed.
Right. So
I always say that when promotions look at a fight card as a standalone event, that's one thing. But if you start looking at it as an experience,
yes,
that's in my opinion where
Right.
like the successful. And by the way, you want to know where I stole that quote from? Dana White.
yeah,
Dana White's like, we are selling an experience. We're not selling fights. We're
Something
selling an
everyone wants to be a
experience.
part of, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're selling oh shit moments.
Yeah.
If you notice, he's not saying like we're selling violence.
that's my thing with wrestling. I went to SummerSlam in Detroit last summer, and I paid $1,600 for one
Woo!
seat. For one seat, but you know what? I was fucking there.
Woo!
I was there. That you could, if a clip comes by, I'm in commercials from that up in my chair, acting a fool. But it's like, I don't care how I would have paid twice that because I was there. I was in that moment, and it was a fucking experience. I will never forget it.
Are you still trying? I want to be careful how I word this question, but like, are you done trying to do that? Like, do you ever want to be a ring card girl again? Like, not just for Shamrock, but for anybody else.
I would do it again.
You would do it
100%.
again.
I would. Yeah. I obviously, like I said, I'm 37. I know it's not. I'm not going to be anyone's like, hey, you want to come do like? I'm not going to be a first call at my age. I know there are younger girls, but I would like to manage girls. I would love to be the one booking, keeping track, doing things. I would love to do something like that.
Why don't you?
I probably could. I don't
think
know.
you should.
I mean, I would love to do something like that. I just want to be involved. Honestly, I can adapt to a lot of different things. I think I'm easy to be around. I enjoy being around. I enjoy being there. I'm there to help. So
I'm just trying to tie this in with the first conversation we had about like maybe
Yeah.
something else that generates
Yeah.
revenue for
No,
you.
yeah.
You have knowledge about what it's like.
I do think I know before I came here, we talked about doing an LLC, and that is something I do believe I need to do because I think I could do.
I'm surprised when you told me certain people told you not to do an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Make an LLC for everything.
Yeah.
I have an LLC. I want to be careful how much I say. Let us say that I have an entity that exists solely for taking people out
Yeah.
to dinner.
To be
So
fair,
that I can expense my dinners.
I don't necessarily tell people what I'm making, so some people might not think it's
money
financially
is-
worth
yeah.
a damn, and that's
Making an LLC takes 15 minutes and $50.
Yeah. yeah.
Why
Well,
wouldn't
and after
you?
my conversation with you, it wouldn't hurt to have one at all for anything.
Make it generic.
Like,
Make it
like,
Whitney, McCallister, Enterprises, whatever. Name it whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But then, like, what are you selling? What are you doing? You could say, and then it can morph after that.
Well, and I just feel like with OnlyFans, I've just kind of gotten lost and I'm very sure of who I am as a person, but I don't know what I want to do. I really don't.
That's fair.
Like, I just don't know. Like,
I want to make sure that, like, the goal in my inquiry on that, Whit, is I'm not trying to bully you into
Yeah,
anything
no.
or like stress you out. My goal is to just start the process of thinking about these
Right.
things so that when you do,
well, yeah, and I keep referring to being 37. But like I need to put it in my mind, like, Whitney, like, you're not getting younger,
and the number one hurdle for all business owners is what?
Yeah.
It's capital.
Right.
So you have some money. So that hurdle is gone.
Yeah.
Off to the races.
I do. I feel like I just kind of want to take a year or two and I don't want to quit doing OnlyFans. I enjoy it. And if I can at least make
Why not do it all?
$3,000 a month, you know what I mean?
But why not do it all?
My biggest,
You can do it all.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
do
yeah.
OnlyFans.
Well-
You can work at the gym.
that's my thing though. I don't want to say that like I spend too much time working at the
Cut
gym.
back.
I know that's what I need to. Because if I wanted to pursue outside things or do other things, if I were just staying at home doing OnlyFans, I could probably be making 2 times as much because it's all about being available and on their time.
Can I say one
yeah.
thing? I'm not going to talk money.
Mm-hmm.
After the last episode,
Yeah.
we went out to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say that there's a pie chart from like the money you have made. Like OnlyFans does like
Yeah.
analytics, right? Let me just say that before that dinner, if you would have told me where the majority of the money would have came from, I would have said videos and photos. Like for sure, that's the product, right? The fact that it was communications blew my fucking mind. That it's not even necessarily the visual, but the interpersonal.
Right. And I like being like, because I can get on my phone at work and chit chat, and that's fine. And honestly, I can go to the bathroom and sneak a picture or something if I really need to, you know. And but that's
I believe that's called overemployment.
But I feel like I'm double dipping at that point, you know. But at that point, that's like and I've done it. I'm gonna be totally honest. I've done that, and it's like but they see that as like a girlfriend experience. Like, oh, she, you know, miss you, whatever, sneak peek. Well, so it's beneficial. But I do think if I cut back there, that I'd be able to find different new things and see what else I want to start streaming. I really want to start streaming on TikTok. I want to start streaming myself. This is gonna sound so stupid. Playing The Sims.
Like video games?
Yes. I had a Twitch at one point.
Why don't you do Twitch? Yeah.
I don't want to have to put all the effort into all the equipment Twitch would take. If I'm being totally honest. Plus, I have a large.
Do you have a computer?
Yeah.
Do you have OBS?
No.
It's free.
Well, but I have the following on TikTok already. I posted a video.
That's different.
I posted a video on TikTok talking about how I bought my grandma cigarettes behind my grandpa's back for her birthday, and I made $420 off of that video. So I have over like.
From what?
Just from talking for over a minute. All you have to do is have like over 10,000 followers on TikTok to get monetized, maybe 15. And then the videos have to be a minute long, and your video has to be seen from their For You page. Like, you can't go to my profile and watch my video and me get paid from that.
Oh, okay.
You have to see it on your like For You page. So it's gotten, I don't know, like 800,000 views, and I made over $420 on that one video.
Hold up. 800,000 views.
Yes.
Got you 420.
Yeah, they have to
You made it sound like that's a lot of fucking views.
Well, TikTok is very hard to make money off of. That's why the people that are doing it, like making a living off of TikTok, blows my mind. It blows my mind because they have to watch a specific amount of time of the video. They can't just watch 3 seconds and scroll. I don't know specifically. I don't really look into it that much because I don't regularly make that kind of money off of it. I make at least $50 to $75 a month off of TikToks. So, but yeah, 800,000. And then there has to be engagement. You get more money for like more engagement, but it can't be negative engagement. Like, people have to like.
Can you unlike? Context.
Yeah.
I don't have TikTok.
Okay.
I'll tell you why I don't have TikTok. 2 reasons. The EULA, and I just fundamentally...
Yeah. The time I waste on it is stupid, Arion. I hate myself for it.
I hate social media. I don't hate social media. I don't hate social media. Mm-hmm. I hate how many social medias there are.
Yeah.
I just like, dude, it's...
Oh, yeah. Now that you can post like a story on Facebook, I think that's so fucking stupid. That's what Snapchat was for.
Yeah.
It's
all homogenized. It's all the same market.
Why can't we let each platform have its thing? Like... Facebook is like...
Because that's anti-consumer. Come on now, girl, we gotta compete.
I know, but I'm not posting a story on fucking Facebook. I think that's weird.
Yeah, but there's a market for that.
There is.
It's an elderly market.
And so anything I put on TikTok, I also make as a reel on Instagram.
Okay, so
and I'll make money. I'll make money off of it there too.
Matt, are we making money off Instagram? We gotta work
I don't know how I got monetized on Instagram. Honestly, I have no clue. But I will say, people steal my pictures and try to pretend they're me and scam like men out of money. Like they'll take all my pictures and then they'll block me.
Hold up.
Listen, this is a whole problem in
itself.
itself.
Are you telling me I could be Whitney McCallister?
It's a fucking scary place, Arion. Go. I should let you have the login for my Instagram for a day and just let you go buck wild because.
Don't tempt me.
It's a Can we have an episode where I just come on here and read, like, you know how they do, like, read the mean tweets? Can I just read my inbox to you one day, just on a whole, like...
Ben Lawler and the Tom James family will ensure that whether you're purchasing your first custom fit suit or your 50th, the process is unrivaled. With the experience and quality of the Tom James name, allow Ben Lawler to help shape the vision that is your professional brand with a suit that speaks to the conviction in their craft. With fabric sourced here in the U.S., you'll know quality and craftsmanship are top of class. Like a sculptor examines wet clay before creating a masterpiece, Ben Lawler will walk you through the process of selection, measuring, and stitching to ensure your finished product is a work of art. Putting your trust in Ben is a guarantee that your brand will elevate to the next level. And always remember, You don't get a second chance at a first impression.
Honestly.
How?
It's
I want to be careful how I ask this
it's
question.
terrifying.
How rancid is some of the shit that you get sent?
I have turned the notifications off.
On what, Instagram?
All of my social media. I do not get a single notification for any messages. I mean, I'll get like the little, like if you like something, I'll get the little red notification. But
on OnlyFans, you have it on?
Well, OnlyFans is like a website. They won't make it an app since it's adult content. Apple won't support it.
Oh.
So I have to log into the actual website.
To like check stuff.
So
okay.
I've got but like I don't get a phone notification for it. But yeah, I don't even read. I have to go in. I have OCD with like all the notifications, like the little number. Like when Instagram says I have 20 notifications, it's usually because I posted a lingerie pic with my OnlyFans link and said subscribe. And everyone wants to message. I'm not going to talk to you about it. If you want to talk to me, subscribe. And I know that sounds shitty, but I'm
just a businesswoman trying to conduct business.
I get so many messages on social media that it's impossible to respond. So if you want me to respond, you're going to pay for my time. End of story. I mean, and I feel, but I do have people who pretend to be me, and they'll come steal my pictures, and then they'll block me, and then
is that not something they block?
They block me. I only find out because
no, I'm saying when I say they block, I mean like if I try to be Whitney McCallister on Instagram, do they not block me from doing that?
No, that's what I'm saying. I want. This sounds so bratty. I want my Instagram account to be fucking verified, because this happens to me so often. Can't you just verify
it? Wasn't it Taco King that said that you could just buy it?
I'm not paying monthly for a.
Girl, I feel you.
I feel you. I am not that full of myself yet.
Yeah, we just got like the little message on our Instagram saying like, hey, the wait list
for $12.99,
dude, $14.99 for me.
Go fuck yourself.
I look at it and I go, I'm good.
No, but I do feel bad.
If someone tries to be easy talk, I'll be flattered.
I can do it, please.
Like, stop.
It's just the scamming people. I'm like, bro, if you're gonna send her money, why wouldn't you send it to the real Whitney? Like, don't be scamming. Like, they'll go through, steal my pictures. They'll add. This is where I don't get it. They'll add some people that I'm already friends with, and then they'll block me, and then they'll like message them, hey, do you want to see some never before seen like girl on girl action? And then they'll like text it. That's why I do open my messages, so the followers will be like, yo, is this you?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you really think I'm holding out on girl action when I got a whole OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Like, you think I would keep that to myself? I'd be making a killing if that's what I was doing, you know?
That was actually one of the conundrums to the previous conversation that like, blew my mind, because like, you're talking about like how you would never do this, you would never do that, and then like near the end of the episode, you're like, well, like
listen,
if the stars aligned.
I mean,
no,
I'm good where I'm at.
I have a weird. I have to say, like personally, with this, I'm no moral grandstander.
Yeah.
I always operate with like, let he without sin cast the first stone, and I am with sin, so I'm not casting any stones.
Yeah.
But like, if I were to be objective, Whitney, like I wouldn't want my daughter to do this, right? That being said, coupled with the conversation we had last time, like I understand that when like the economic prospects are tough, who am I to blame anyone for trying to get by?
But if I'm being honest, I did not think it was going to be what it's become. I thought maybe I'd make a few grand. That would, I mean, like I told you, I was in debt. I was about to file bankruptcy. I literally thought I'd just dig myself out of my hole and then just start fresh. I made 10 grand in 2 weeks, my first 2 weeks. Like that paid off damn near everything. And like, I didn't think it was going to become what it did. So
and that led to the conversation we had about you feeling like it's consuming you.
Right. I'm still like just socially exhausted 24/7. I feel like I've just really kind of like secluded myself, and I've been hanging out at home a lot, and just like I've started yoga. I'm like obsessed with yoga now. I'm trying to just really just me and just be calm and just more in touch with myself, and I'm like obsessed with like yoga now, and I've just been like on a health kick. I've been like getting up every morning and going like walking 2 miles and just clearing my head and just like being in a better space.
Did the episode help with dating at all by any chance?
I have no interest in dating. I was talking to someone at the time, and that just kind of stopped. It wasn't anything about anything. Okay. He was 2,000% okay with the OnlyFans. Yeah, it wasn't like an issue. I don't know. I don't want to have children ever. It's not something I want. It does not.
Do all these men want to have kids?
Well, my other issue is a lot of them already do, and I don't want to be with somebody that has kids. I just don't. I'm not. People think that because I'm a woman who doesn't want to have kids that like I hate kids. I don't hate, but I'll roll with the narrative. If that's what you've got to say, to leave me alone about it, then fine. That's fine. You can think I hate kids. I don't hate kids. I'm great with kids. I have 3 nephews, 2 nieces. Love them to death. I have my niece all weekend. I've got 2 of them next week. Like, I love spending time with them. I love doing family things. I don't want it full time. I just don't. It just doesn't interest me. I don't even really necessarily think I want to get married. It's not something that's ever, I guess I've never been close enough to it for it to entice me. But most girls, oh, I know like what I want my wedding dress to look like and what I've never thought about it. I've never thought about what my wedding would look like. I've never thought about what it would be like to be a parent. So
I'm sure though you have a bunch of men that like.
Oh, I have men that say the most outlandish shit to me where I'm like, if you saw me in a bar in person, would you say that to my face?
Wait, hold up. I was gonna say that like men would throw themselves into that arena, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I know that men.
Oh yeah, let me treat you like a queen.
What are you talking about? In the
like
sense
just the
of,
things that people think they can
shit?
say to me now. Yeah,
Can you give me an example?
I'll just have like, oh, if you ever done like best stuff, would you be into that? What do you think about that? Like, would you ask me that face to face in person with no back conversation ever? Like, we were never talking about anything that had to do with
it's clearly
any kind
not
of
a
sex.
joke. This
right,
is
right.
the guy's
Asking
icebreaker
me,
is anal.
and you're asking me on fucking like not even on OnlyFans where I could at least say, hey, this is what you think you're getting. Like, you know, like you're asking me this on Snapchat. Would you ever say that to any woman? Hey, what do you think about anal? You're just gonna walk. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like,
would.
I'm like,
yes,
man,
they would. Listen, I operate under the realm of like, stop being surprised by people's stupidity.
No, but this was I had sent you that screenshot, right? Wasn't that the one that was like, roughly? That guy said something to me about something like that.
Oh, and you show me the picture of the guy.
Yeah,
dude, can I give some context to this? This guy, I've never done this before, but was it on text message?
Did I text it to you?
Here's me
you
hoping.
Were the one person.
Oh yes, you did.
Okay.
Oh yes, you did.
This was no.
I'm only gonna read this because I can see the person's name, and then you gave me a picture of what he looks like. Yeah. So I don't want to dox him. Yeah. But when I read this, I want you guys to, in your head, formulate what this kind of person could look like. It's been a long 2 days. Gonna be another one today, lol. Can I ask you a question and you be honest with me? This is the gentleman talking to Whitney. Whitney says, "What's that?" This gentleman goes, "Do you think it's nasty if a guy buries, burries, buries his face in a woman's ass and eats her ass?" This is the conversation that this guy is starting with. Like, there's no conversation before that. And then Whitney goes into him. Okay, listen, I like you. I've known you for a long. Oh, you know this guy. Okay.
Yeah, this is someone I personally
But
know.
I don't know what it makes you think that you could talk to me like that. Because I have an OnlyFans ? I do not just sit around and have sex. I don't talk about sex 24/7. I am genuinely offended that you would think that this message is okay. Now, this guy who breaks the ice talking about anal, what do you think he looks like? Take a wild guess. I guarantee you, if you think he is like a masculine, in shape, wealthy, thought out, married guy, or maybe he might be married. You're wrong.
No comment.
When you sent me a picture of this dude, I legitimately was like, what the fuck
am
I looking at?
Something in that context daily, at least once a day, from somebody. There was one I got on Facebook.
Have you ever thought about like, because this guy's married, right?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about like, I want to be careful how I say this, but like, I think there's like a lack of accountability throughout culture, not just men and or women. It's like both of us. Like, men will preach accountability to women and women will preach accountability to men, but like neither one wants to take it.
Right.
Like, have you ever thought about like screenshotting that, sending that to his wife and be like, dude, handle your man?
No, because I do have, I have an OnlyFans. Well, I have an OnlyFans and I just feel like people.
But this isn't on OnlyFans.
No, yeah, this is not,
on Snapchat.
Right, and I'm not.
Which, by the way, he added you on Snapchat for this specific reason.
Right, and I'm not. I don't want the drama. I don't want the man, and I don't want the conversation. And I made that clear.
Yeah, but if enough people do that,
yeah,
this guy starts thinking that more and more.
I don't want to ruin his life for him being a fucking moron. I mean, I don't.
You think it would ruin his life?
I don't know. But then at the same time, I don't want her being like, well, why are you messaging this OnlyFans whore? Because somehow it'll be my fault. Being in a small town and having an OnlyFans is not ideal as far as my character.
That's how we need to get you to the big old city, the big city of St. Louis.
Bring me to St. Louis.
Which is, I think, is like the 20th.
What I'm doing, like.
St. Louis is barely a city.
But
It's enough city.
It's just, yeah. But I had another, I'll have to show it to you. Another guy that I know sent me in great detail a message on Facebook, all the things he was going to do to me.
Sexually. Mm-hmm. Does that ever get like weird?
Buddy, you are not going to. I would not let you touch me regardless.
But this becomes like a safety thing, though, too.
Well, yeah,
like,
yeah. But
like,
these are people I personally know.
I'll tell you this in anecdote. If I had like some meek guy telling me like I'm gonna do things to you, and I'm like, all right, brother, try.
Yeah.
But if I had some like hulking Mike Rogers type guy talking about bear hugging me, I'm like, oh, I need security.
Yeah,
now. And no offense, what I'm about to say, you're not as physically capable as I am. No. So I would be even more so inclined to be like, yo,
am I naive to feel okay because I'm in a small town? Like,
I think you should never underestimate the power of a lonely man.
I agree.
You should never do that because lonely men.
It's just all, and I don't like the ones on Facebook. I didn't respond. Like, I don't respond to messages at all on Facebook because the Facebook is people that I personally know. I do not add people that I don't know or I have not met on Facebook unless I've had like a business relationship with them, because I do post my nieces and nephews and things like that on there. So
it's a little bit more personal.
Yeah, so I'm not like when it comes through on Facebook, and same with Snapchat. I really only add people I know on Snapchat. So those, like when I get messages on there, I don't like the guy on Facebook. I didn't even respond because I'm never going to see him anywhere. I'm never going to hang out with him. I'm never going to be around him. He's never going to touch me. That guy only responded because I have known him a long time. And I just had a wild hair at my ass that day, I guess, because it just offended me. It fucking offended. I'm like, who, like, you are married. I don't like you. Like, we don't talk like that. We've never talked like that ever. We never talk.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know if you know this. How many of the people that subscribe to your OnlyFans are married?
I could not tell you.
You could not tell me?
I can't tell you their names unless they told me. I do not know.
Some of this worries me. Like structurally.
Yeah, there are some that have told me like who they are that live nearby, and I will block them and they will get a full refund, and I'm okay with that. So unless they've purchased things, they don't get the refund like for their purchases. Once it's done, it's done. But like if they subscribe and then I block them, they'll get that subscription money back. Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
I don't know, man. OnlyFans seems like a double-edged sword, obviously.
It's hard. Like, it's not hard work, but it's draining mentally. Well, it is hard work. It is hard. I hate. Like, I try to like downplay it because people tell me how easy it is, and it's not. Like, it's not hard work physically, but it is hard on you. Yeah. You know, and it's time consuming. So,
is there any part of you that's looking forward to it being gone? I understand that, like,
dude, I'm so obsessed with the money. I
know, but I'm saying, like,
if I don't
if there was a pie chart in your head, though, how much of this is like, is it 100% money and you want to do it to the day you die? Or is there a party that's like, dude,
I'm not tired of it right now, but I'm like stagnant with it. I'm just at like another day. So I have like, I'm just kind of okay with it right now, and it is what it is. When it gets done though, my social medias will drastically change.
Is there any part of this that entices you to keep going? Because we kind of harp on the negative, but like, so like, yes, the money is a positive aspect, but is there like...
I thoroughly enjoy the relationships I have built. There are some 5 to 8 people that I do talk to regularly, some who I know their names and who they are, some that I have no fucking clue, but we carry on normal conversations every day. But then I do worry because I do get comfortable and talk about, I work at the lockup gym. There's only one of those. You can
now they know where you're gonna be at.
And you can I think my Snapchat map is
Whitney,
on.
That's my only thing for you is I
feel safe at the gym though with a bunch of men, and I'm like I feel good there. No, so I did have a guy reach out to me wanting to purchase lingerie. So I buy lingerie, and then after I wear it, I resell it. So he leave me alone. It's a moneymaker. So this guy reaches out to me. Listen,
men buy this?
I guess it's men.
So
listen, I've got a side story about. No, but I've worn it. So listen, this guy reaches out to me about. I'm like, oh yeah, I sell it like the lingerie I sell for $50 a pop, like whatever.
Men buy lingerie that you've worn.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with our society?
For $50, and I ship it to them.
How much did the lingerie cost you?
About anywhere between $2 and $20. Listen.
Every day we stray further from God.
Well, Sorry, God.
Listen, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But this guy reached out. He's like, hey, I'm going to be in the Taylorville area. Can I come pick it up?
Did you say yes?
No, I said absolutely not.
Yeah,
I said I will not ever see anyone. I have people that ask to video chat, and I feel like that'd be something I'd be okay with, just having like a phone conversation, like.
Yeah, but how long into that until a dick comes out?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not like, this ain't gonna be like you jerking off to me, like, hey, how was your day today? Like, I'm not like.
Dude, this conversation has taken a turn. Oh my God.
That's what I'm telling you. There really are so many layers and just like things that. Because OnlyFans can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
It really can. Sex sells. I don't know. It's
You're not
just,
wrong.
and I hate being, I feel so guilty saying this. I hate being lumped into being like a sex worker because I'm not having sex for money, but like, that's what I am. That's what it is. So it's like, I try to defend it, but then at the same time, I see where the problem, like where the issues lie with it.
For your nieces and nephews, have you thought about what's gonna happen when they get a little older?
Yeah, I have a 16. I think that I don't.
We talked about that.
I'm struggling with that one a little bit. But they don't have money.
Is that a nephew?
Yeah,
16.
My oldest nephew is 16, and his friends. He's got a couple that are 18 now that do know. I do try to block them from like my Instagram is lawless, and Instagram and Twitter are like lawless places. That's where I like promote and things like that. So I do try to block them if they find me there. But my pages are public, so if they're just searching me, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're broke. They're kids. They're broke. So there was like there was a brief
the barrier to entry is financial.
I'm like, you know what? They're young.
Fucking hell, Whit.
Am I wrong?
Oh my God.
Am I wrong?
Listen, where there is a will, there is a way.
Where is an 18-year-old going to not only have $13 a month to be a part of it, but to be able to pay $50 a day or so? Like, no, I'm not. They can't afford to come to this party yet.
This is a world that
I think what will be the hardest for me as far as the kids is when my oldest niece.
How old is she now?
She's 7. Once she gets to a more
teenage years.
Because right now Aunt Boo Boo buys her whatever she wants, and that's.
It's also entirely possible that you're done by then, and maybe
that's why I'm kind of like, I'm not. That's
7
why
years.
I'm not super worried about it right now. If I could just pop off $1 million the next year and just be done with it, you know what I mean? But so, yeah, that's. But with I don't know. Just 18-year-olds are broke.
I think there's something to be said about that management company if you wanted to start something for like Ring Car Girls and like not just Ring Car Girls, but like brand ambassadorship, experience, personnel, what have you. You've kind of been on both sides of that equation.
I'm a really outgoing and social person, so I think I could build off of that. I mean, people need that. Businesses need that. I mean,
I agree.
And I do have a decent social media, but at the same time, I don't like this all started from my I travel all over the United States to go to WWE wrestling shows, and that is how this like started for me, sitting down on the floor, being on TV, people recognize, hey, I follow her on Twitter.
When you say sitting down on the floor, you mean floor of an event.
Of the event. Yeah. Next time they come to St. Louis, I'll have to get us tickets and make you go sit with me and like do the whole spiel.
Matt, so you don't know.
Am I taking Matt?
Matt is like die-hard wrestling fan. And one of the guys that we're trying to get on the podcast is his like in-ring name is Kevin Lee Davidson. I actually knew him. He went to high school with us, but like that's like what he does. Like he's
that is like
professional
my
wrestler.
Thing.
Maybe I'll have you do that episode because you're gonna ask him like a bunch of. I'll be like, so.
Let me just be a sit-in.
Like, Aaron, you sound like an idiot.
Hold on, wait, ask him this.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get there. Traveling like that's exhausting. At one point I dated a wrestler in the WWE for about 9 months.
Would I know his name or her name?
He's married now. I do not communicate with him. It was Luke Gallows is his name. That was his wrestling name, Luke Gallows. He was in the Bullet Club. He had a tag team partner, Carl Anderson.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah. So I dated him for about 8 or 9 months. Years ago, he is married now. We do not speak. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
But I went to 19 states with him in about 12 months.
Did you pay for that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
So,
Luke, good job.
I guess technically I was selling my body before OnlyFans.
No, that's a little different.
It was,
my whole thing is they got 50 Shades of Grey on Netflix right now. And I say to the girls, like, the difference between a feminine fantasy and a male fantasy is that a male fantasy is still in the realm of reality, where a female fantasy is like, really? Like, the billionaire, young, handsome,
Yeah.
jacked.
It was, I just thought it was going to be like we're going to hang out one time and that be it. But
Why did it end, if you don't mind me asking?
he had wanted me, so I had flown to his home in Georgia and hung out for a weekend with him and his friends. We went boating. He lived on the lake at the time. It was a good time. And then he wanted me to fly back out to his house. And at the time, I worked in finance. I was eating up vacation days.
Yeah.
I was taking red eyes home to the airport, driving straight to work from the airport because I didn't want to take a day off because I knew I was going to be traveling somewhere else and needed that extra day. Like I went to so we quit talking. He had asked me to come back to his house and I couldn't do it, and he got a little like pissy with me because I think he had already used the points to book it for me.
Have you thought about like telling him like, hey, like if you want me to do this, like we're living completely different lifestyles.
Yeah.
You have to supplement this.
No, because I didn't see it being something.
You knew it wasn't gonna be a long-term thing.
I don't know what he was doing when he's in England or Mexico or you know what I mean, like.
I understand.
Yeah, I was like, I don't. Yeah,
you understood. What
yeah,
was happening.
I knew what it was, and I knew. I thought the time was, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was something that could have turned into more, and I self-sabotaged by not seeing it that way. But I wanted to be realistic about the situation going into it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like, oh my God, I'm gonna marry him and we're gonna live happily ever. Like I just wanted to be realistic about what was going on. And did I want to long term be with somebody who's on the road doing I don't know what? Probably not. So I just tried to stay realistic about it, and that's what happened. But like.
Through that relationship with him, did you ever get to meet like any other wrestlers? That
Oh
were, like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I won't talk about. But
Hey.
Yeah. It was a good time.
What happens in wherever it happens stays in wherever it happens.
Right. I went to Phoenix and we went to the Royal Rumble there, and Shane McMahon was there, and he's Vince McMahon's son, who was the owner at the time, and he bought everyone like a shot of tequila. And I do not drink liquor. I think it's disgusting, but you were not taking a shot. Yeah. Which I downed this shot, ran to the bathroom, puked, and came back out and rallied. I was ready to go. It was great. And back then, it's crazy to me now because I act like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to do those things. I didn't have a dime to my name and went to 19 states in 9 months. Like what is my deal?
Have you ever seen the meme that's like, hey, get up and grind because like the homeless heroin addict is finding money to get his heroin. Yeah. You gotta let a heroin addict grind harder than you.
Get it together, Whitney.
And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. It's not supposed to be inspirational, but damn if it isn't.
Put it on your fridge. Yeah. But yeah, I was like burning through like vacation days, and I was just everywhere, and I would take flights, and there was a pay-per-view Money in the Bank in Chicago, and that was like the first big show I went to with him. Because we had started talking in April after a WrestleMania, and I was at WrestleMania in New Orleans, and we started talking then because he had asked a friend about me, so I messaged him. And then in June, Money in the Bank was in Chicago, and he asked me to that.
I need you to understand, when you say Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, this means...
All right, can you come sit in for a
this
minute?
This means, like, what is this?
They're called premium live events,
okay.
Like pay-per-view.
Okay.
Yeah, is what they are. They were called pay-per-views back
then. I thought
then.
all wrestling was pay-per-view. Am I wrong? Is that like the
Yeah, every Monday night is Monday Night Raw, and
okay,
Friday nights are SmackDown.
I remember that, actually. Yeah. Forgive me. I do remember that.
So these
I did watch wrestling when I was little. I remember, like, dude, I was huge into The Rock back in the day. So, like, it's not that I don't know what wrestling is. The problem is,
loved his
I don't know what wrestling is now, because like when I was little, I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. Like I'm 31 now, right? Yeah. So it's like I don't even think any of those guys wrestle anymore.
Oh, The Rock just had a really good run and was in WrestleMania last
Was he?
April.
Still?
Yes. You would have loved his last get-up.
I want to see his position and whatever cocktail he's on. God bless.
Yeah, but yeah, I went to Chicago.
He's like the one guy that got like more jacked as he aged.
It gets better looking.
And then he's like, it's just all the pancakes.
Yeah. My 500 pancakes a day. But yeah, I had taken like the weekend off, and I was going to stay up there, and decided he had asked me to go to another show further away that I had to fly somewhere. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel the vacation day and like go to work the next day. And then that way I can take that day for our next trip. So Money in the Bank ended.
Was there any part of you, and forgive me for asking this, but was there any part of you that thought about like, what if I like quit my finance job and get like a bartending job or something where I can do like more flexible?
No, because I was doing it all.
Yeah. I
was doing it all, and I made it work. It was really nice getting those, back then, fat paychecks every other Friday. And I mean, I didn't have the money to pay for a flight and then pay for a hotel and then pay for tickets.
For
and
19
then
times in 8 months.
So I paid for food. And that was it. So that was nice. But I canceled the vacation day, and instead of staying with him in Chicago, I drove home. Well, no, he was leaving. I stayed the night before, and then he was leaving the next day after the show because he had to be on the road to a house show. So I was coming home, and I hit a deer on my way home. I drove a little Mustang at the time. I hit a deer on the interstate going 75. I had the cruise on, didn't even brake because it just like, it was 2 a.m. I mean, the show ended
Dude, you're lucky you're okay.
it was like mortifying. So it's in Monticello, Illinois, and I had to make that phone call to my parents at 2 o'clock in the morning because I needed a ride home. I'm okay. I just need a ride home.
This deer's not.
Yeah, bro. Oh my God, I've never been so pissed off. But it's funny because at the time I had traded cars so many times. So where I was financially and having that Mustang, my Mustang payment was like $620. So it was a blessing in disguise because I had Gap insurance and it paid that car off completely. And I got myself out of that. That's why I have 2 vehicles now. I will never trade a car again, ever. You couldn't pay me to trade a car. I will sell it to someone, get what I owe, or I'm gonna die in that car. Like that's like I'm not doing it. Like it's not happening. But yeah, so I had to like go to the hospital, and I still, by the time it was all said and done, my dad got me home at like 4:30 in the morning. I slept for 2 hours, got up, got in the shower, and went to fucking work.
Jesus.
I was like, I'm going on that next wrestling trip. I was so dedicated.
That's one of the things I sometimes I think I live a wild life because, the fighting and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had some experiences in my life, but dude, whenever you're telling me stories like this, I'm like, dude, I am vanilla.
I do not know how I like functioned and went to work and like did everything I did back in like 2018. If I could like go back, 2018 was like my year.
If I may,
yeah.
You were telling me earlier when I was telling you to do it all about like the business and then the OnlyFans. You were looking at me like I had 3 heads. So like you've ran it red.
I'm also 8 years older now. It's.
Yeah, I was the same when we had a round.
And I do get complacent. I feel like where I'm just like, I think if I did start just going out and doing shit again and just got myself in the routine, but I don't want to be up until 4 a.m. And I don't even work till 9 o'clock now. I don't even have to be at work as early as I used to working finance, but I don't know, just something about like getting older, and I like a routine and I like a schedule. I like,
I can only speak for myself.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I just had one job, right?
I've never had just one job.
Exactly. So there was a moment for me where I had, granted, I was also training and fighting. So maybe you could make the argument that like fighting was my second job.
That's more than a second job, in my opinion. I mean.
Perhaps. I know that like I was putting in like 40 hours a week at the job, 25 to 30 hours a week training and fighting and all this other stuff. Okay. Then there was a moment where like I got multiple revenue opportunities. Yeah. Then it's like, well, then once I got multiple revenue opportunities, like having just one job was like, well, this like what would I do with all my free time?
That's what OnlyFans has opened my eyes to. Like, there's no set amount of money on how much you can make. Like it doesn't just cap out at like $5,000 a month, and then that's all you can make. And now that like I don't know, OnlyFans has really opened my eyes to that. Like I can make money doing this, this, and this all at the same time.
Like starting a management company?
Yeah, I'm like, wait a second. Like, if I can do all of that, and you're telling me I can make $50,000 in a month, why am I not trying to do that? Like, and I will say that's like, I don't know, I feel like it's motivated me financially now that I see that kind of money, not $50,000 a month, but like bigger money is an option for me. I have a friend in Wisconsin named Dave, and he owns a wrestling promotion up there, and I like to go and hang out, and people are excited to see me take pictures and hang out, and I consider these people my friends, but he tells me like weekly will message me, don't forget you're a brand, you are a brand, and I just feel like if I tell myself, Whitney, and I just feel like if I tell myself you are a brand, you can make money off of your name and who you are and what you do and how you are, like I just feel like I'm so full of myself to see myself like that, and I don't ever want to come off as like arrogant in who I am, because I don't think I've done anything not worthwhile, but like big enough to be like, I am a name,
I think you're very humble, which is what helps make you so endearing. And I think that nature is like maybe why a lot of these men subscribe and things like that. So like I wouldn't say
my
change
biggest
anything.
Compliment is like, you were so down to earth. You were so I would see a photo of you and not ever think in a million years you would respond to a message from me.
Can I give you some anecdotal evidence? When I said that you were going to be on the podcast again, we had another producer who was like, "Oh no way! Like, what's she like and stuff like that." I was like, "She's normal."
That's what I pride myself on just being a normal ass person. Like
she thought I was going to be like, "Oh, she's this." I was just like, "Yeah." Whitney's like, "What you see is what you get."
Yeah, and that's what I don't care what anyone necessarily thinks about me, but the one thing everyone where I live, if you went in and asked them, like, what is one thing about Whitney, is like, I am honest to a fault. I do not care. I have nothing to hide. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's it. Right. Like, if I did you wrong, I did you wrong, and I'm sorry that happened. Like, there's not anything I can do other than, because you're not gonna catch me up in a lie. I'm not gonna do it, you know? And that's just like that's like the one thing that, like, I'm really proud of, like, where I live.
So this is basically all I had for the conversation with, for the most part. But I do, before I end it, I want you to promise me one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That you will take some of the ideas that we have talked about and legitimately think about them.
I know. I would like to come down here and have a sit-down conversation with you over dinner or something, and, like, really... I would love to show you the numbers and talk about, like... It can even just be a Zoom call, or, like, I can meet you halfway or something. But what I'm trying to say is, there's a window of time for... But I know your time is money as well. Like, that is, like, it has opened up... You know what I mean, though?
Can I be honest with you? I love this shit.
I know you do. And I feel
Matt can attest to this. I'm doing this... If we do have the conversations, if we start making something, I do that for literally, like, 4 different other people.
Yeah.
So it's like... And by the way, I don't charge a dime.
Well, that's why I'm comfortable talking to you about it, because I trust you. I'm like, I trust you 100%. We've been friends for years at this point, and, like...
I just want to see my friends succeed and continue to succeed, and then plan for the future, and then
that's what I'm lacking where I'm at. Like, there is nobody that I can turn to and say, this person is doing better than me and I can learn from them. I want them in my circle. I feel like I am that, right, in my area where I live.
So then fucking leave Taylorville. Is that 3-bedroom house so fucking important? Seriously, $600?
I know, but
if you do it right, you'll be making so much money you don't give a fuck.
You're right.
I literally, I'm at the point in my life where I don't even look at this shit anymore. Yeah. I don't care what my mortgage is. I don't.
Oh my God, I don't know why I do, but I do.
I don't care.
But I also feel like at the same time, I want to stay. I just feel like it keeps me grounded. I don't want to, like... You're
37 years old. You think that moving to a city, suddenly now you're going to be, like, full of yourself?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Listen, I'll keep you honest.
If I fucking move here and hang out with you.
Listen, I'm not even saying, like, leave Taylorville for St. Louis.
Yeah.
Leave Taylorville for Houston.
Yeah.
Don't leave Taylorville for Chicago. Leave Taylorville for, like, a city with more economic opportunities, especially if you're considering doing something in the line of work where you're going to be using people as labor sources. Because how many people in Taylorville, Illinois can be... doing the shit that we're talking about. I'm not trying to talk shit on Taylorville, Illinois. I'm sure it's full of great people.
There are people. I love my friends.
Yes.
You know, but it's just like, I am the person that everyone, like, hey, she's successful in her own right. What can I learn?
And get an apartment, part-time.
Apartment?
What do you care? You're not even going to be there most.
That's true.
Just get something like...
Because apartments are $1,000 a month.
Not like a studio in the city. Welcome to St. Louis, where property values are dropping. Because
I read something that said Jeff City is, like, one of the nicest places to live or something.
Jefferson City?
Yeah, in Missouri. Yeah. I read something that
capital?
said, like, yes.
No. Yeah. Have you been to Jefferson City?
Yes. There's not really anything there.
No.
But I read
it's the Capitol building and then Podunk.
Like, the rent, because I was just going through looking at, like, cities, like, good cities or whatever. I can't remember if it was Missouri. I think it was in Missouri. Yes, the best place, like, in Missouri to live. And they said it was, like, Jeff City. I'll have to find it and send it to you, the article. I was like, I've been there. There's really not a whole lot to do there.
I've been to Jefferson City a couple times, and there's literally just, like, the state politicians. And
I look all the time, though. I'm always looking at, like, for some reason, I'm drawn to Texas. I'm always looking at places in Texas. I'm always I would go to Texas.
Dude, the ranches there, the bang for your buck in Texas, plus the fact that they have no state income tax. Sign me up, dog.
Right. There's something I love about Texas.
The only problem with Texas is the fact that there's been a lot of migration from liberal states that are slowly but surely changing. I do think that in the next 10 years, there's a strong possibility that Texas does become, like, it's purple already, perhaps blue. I mean, look at Florida.
Yeah.
Florida was purple. Now it's, like, hardcore red. We'll see what the future holds. I also like Missouri. I like where I'm at right now. I
love Missouri, and there is not a person here that I am not glad that I met. Like, I
can't say that.
Oh my God, I've met so many great people here. And just supportive people, and that, like, I love that.
Oh, to live through the eyes of a hot,
I know. So am I gonna move here
and not a 5'7" short Albanian? Whitney, thank you so much for being on Easy Talk.
Tknow. you.
She's like, I haven't met a single person who wasn't super nice.
Single person here that I don't love.
Me and Matt are like, I know 5 people I can name off right now.
This is why you only come here once every 3 months.